Dr. Jammalamadaka Srinivas garu. Jammalamadaka Srinivas garu is also a Nyaya scholar. Actually, these two are brothers. Jammalamadaka Srinivas garu is the elder one, and Jammalamadaka Srinivas garu is the younger brother of Jammalamadaka Srinivas garu. He is going to talk about a very interesting topic. Actually, no one would have thought about Sūtra-s in Arthasastra. Usually people know the shlokas of Arthasastra, but there is a Sutra section of Arthasastra also, and exploring the background of concise expression of Chanakya in Arthasastra. There was a message in the Q&A box. Someone was saying, when is the Chanakya talk going to begin? So people are eagerly waiting for the Arthasastra topic, probably because it's a very new topic. I'll introduce Jammalamadaka Srinivas garu, Director, School of Shastric Learning, Kavikula Guru Kalidasa Sanskrit University, Ramtek, Maharashtra. He is in present position. Srinivas Jammalamadaka studied Nyaya Tarka Shastra under Sri Ambadipudi Radhesham Shastri garu, Advaita Vedanta under Sri Manidravada Shastri garu, and Vyakarana under Sri Ganti Dattatreya Murthy. He has completed the Tenali exams in Tarka Shastra and appeared for the Tenali exams in Advaita Vedanta. He has completed MPhil and PhD in Nyaya Shastra. He is presently the assistant professor at the School of Shastric Learning, Kavikula Guru Kalidasa Sanskrit University, Ramtek. He has been conferred awards such as Takkaratnam and Vidwan Mani by Sri Kanchi Shankaracharya, Shastra Kalanidhi by Madhya Pradesh State Governor. Currently, he is working as the director, School of Shastric Learning at Kavikula Guru Kalidasa Sanskrit University, Ramtek. Over to you, Srinivas sir.
Thank you, Paturi sir. I first of all would thank INDICA Academy, Meghji, Nagaraj sir, and Harikiran ji for giving me this opportunity. So I'll start my talk with Mangalacharanam. Shuklam Bradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhajam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvavighnopashantaye Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmeelitanjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So the topic I chose is exploring the background of concise expression of Chanakya and Arthasastra. Actually, Arthasastra is not written in the form of Sūtra-s though, but the Sutra definition, which was explored in the previous talk by my elder brother, that is Alpaksharam Asandigdham Saravad Vishwatomukham Astobham Anavadyancha Sutram Sutravido Vidu. So these all elements of the definition of Sutra would definitely fit into the Arthasastra's expression by Chanakya. So I wish to explore what was the situation that actually drived Chanakya to author Arthasastra, and the style of his writing by just contemplating or exploring two examples from his work. So that is how I wish to deal this talk with. So I wish to make first a bifurcation of the talk. The first half I would be exploring about the background of authoring Arthasastra. I mean, what were the situations or circumstances that led Chanakya to author Arthasastra? And then I'll be exploring the concise expression. That is why I use the word concise expression rather than sutra. Though sutra is the main topic, but the elements of all the sutras are present in Arthasastra. So that's why I use the word concise expression rather than sutra. So detailing of the concise expression in Arthasastra in the second half of the talk. So in order to understand what was the situation at that time, because we need to understand how would a Sutrakara or an author, think, or what were those situations that led him to focus upon a particular topic and think about the allied subjects of that particular topic is very much needed, so that we can understand, because each and every word that they author have a particular objective and it has to address the main goal or the main cause which actually led them to author that particular work. So coming to Arthasastra, so what was the situation that led Chanakya to author Arthasastra? So at that point in time, there was not a comprehensive work on Niti Shastra, because there may be each and every time when we go into the history and look back the works of great scholars, we understand that they were actually doing a comprehensive work which was needed at that point in time to the society. I mean, they wanted to address the problems that were prevalent at that point in time while they were authoring that works, and they wanted to address those problems. So it is not that there was no Niti Shastra or there were no works about how the administration should be done, how the policies should be made, and etc. while Chanakya was about to write Arthashastra. But there was not a comprehensive work that was available to address those particular unique situations that were prevalent at that point in time in the society. So that is the first thing that we have to understand, that there was no comprehensive work available on Niti Shastra. And the other thing that they wanted to address, because there was no equilibrium in the society. The equilibrium of the society was lost. What is the equilibrium of society? Which they stated was sattva. That is, the need to retain sattva in the society was very much needed at that point in time. So this sattva is what they meant to be equilibrium. That is, that has to be there in a society for a smooth administration, which was not there historically. So who is Chanakya? Is he what you call? Does he has all the capabilities to author a work which is comprehensive on the focal subject of Niti Shastra at that point in time? The answer is yes, because it is understood that Chanakya was well versed in all the Vedas. That is the main source of our knowledge. And he was not only well versed in all the Vedas, but he was well versed in all the allied subjects of the Vedas. That was covered by the Ashtadash Vidyasthanas, which my actually elder brother has covered. So he was having all the essential knowledge from where he can actually pick the needed subjects and then compile and then author a unique work which will actually address the problems of that particular society in that point in time. So here in the previous thing, I said that there was a need to retain sattva in the society. So then what is the purpose of Arthashastra is, even though in the opening verse itself, he will the Chanakya would state that Prithivyaha labhe palanecha. So that means in order to retain power over new lands, new piece of lands, and in order to even sustain the power or the administration in the land that has been conquered by a king, this Shastra is very much needed in order to do that. So that is essentially re-establishing sattva in the society through competent administration. So that was the main purpose of authoring Arthashastra. We need to keep this in mind every time, because whatever he is going to deal in Arthashastra, whatever he is going to explain or explore, whatever topic, at the end we need to be able to find a relation, correlation, or a relation which is sakshat or parampara, which is direct or indirect relation, which will lead at essentially in establishing sattva in the society. So it is our what you call we should be very cautious, and we should examine each and every detail in each and every new concept, whatever it is being covered in Arthashastra, whether that would lead towards directly or indirectly towards the main objective of the work, that is retaining sattva in the society. So what is the sattva in society? What is sattva? Sattva means dhriti. In other words, it is also called as dhriti. So what is that? That is vyasane abhyudaye cha yad avikaraha. Vyasane, that means at the perilous situations or at the perilous times, or abhyudaye, when the society is progressing in the both adverse situations, that means in the both extremes, positive and negative, yad avikaraha, when one does not have any vikara or any side effects of the extremes, positive or negative, that is called as dhriti or sattva. Coming, if we try to contemplate whether that sattva is applicable to society, yes. That means a society which does not develop superiority complex while progressing, nor inferiority complex while going downwards, and having a collective mindset which is positive in nature, is called as sattva. That means maybe we can take an example of maybe Japan after the atomic attack that has been done on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They did not, if we actually go through the story of the founder of Sony company, Akio Morita, I suppose his name is. So they actually thought of establishing that company on the ruins of a building after Hiroshima and Nagasaki attacks. So they did not develop this inferiority complex that we cannot again prosper in our society. So that is a kind of a mindset from which they actually re-established themselves as a progressive society. And at the same time, we should not even have this mindset while we are achieving success. A superiority complex should also not be developed. Maybe we can take the historical examples of maybe Hitler while he was in the initial stage of World War II, while he was successful in the first few months. Maybe he developed somewhere a superiority complex through which maybe he had a illusion which developed into an illusion, and then that led to some other maybe bad decisions which led to again crumble down. So these are just the examples I'm taking. They may not be perfect, but something very much relatable to our in the recent history that I wanted to take. And in Rasagangadhara, we find this definition of what dhriti is. That is lobha, shoka, bhayadi janita, upaplava nivarana, karani bhutaha, chitta vritti visheshaha. Lobha, shoka, bhayadi janita, upaplavaha. So, bhayam means fear, shokam means sorrow, lobha means being stingy. So all these kind of mindsets will lead to upaplava, that is unnecessary situations, and a kind of mindset which actually retains or which actually will not let the what you call fruits of these negative thought process will take over a person. That is called as a dhriti. That means, as said in the Vyasane Abhyudaya cha yad avikaraha also, that is maintaining a very what you call strong mindset which does not lead to either superiority complex or inferiority complex. So that is sattva or dhriti, that it has to be established in the society. That means when a society is having this kind of a collective mindset, it is not individual, it is samishti, it is not vyashti point of view, then that means that the administration, this cannot happen naturally. There has to be a system which actually maintains this. There need to be steps taken towards maintaining this kind of a situation in the society, for which this actually the Shastra, Arthasastra was written. So this we have to keep in mind. So what was Chanakya thinking before authoring Arthasastra is this. So that at that point in time, there was, due to the maybe administration was crumbling of Nandarajas, and there was a need to re-establish the sattva in the society. Then he thought that no, it is not that only I establish or help Chandragupta Maurya in order to become the king, but not only that, it should be as a referral or a manual for all the other kings also, or all the administrators in the future to competently administer their own kingdoms or governments. So, and then we'll come to the second part, that is the what we can infer about any author. Any author, that is whoever writes any book. So what is that we can infer? Is he having the competence, or is does he has the capability to author such a work? So for this, I took a reference from the Brahma Sutra Shankara Bhashya in the Shastra Yonitva that is, Yadyad Vistarartham Shastram Yasmat Purusha Visheshat Sambhavati Yatha Vyakaranadi Pandinyadehe Gneyika Desharthamapi Satatopyadhikatara Vijnanaha iti Prasiddham Loke. So what does Shankaracharya say is that whoever writes a book, we can infer that Yasmat Purusha Visheshat Sambhavati, whoever actually authors any kind of work, Satatopyadhikatara Vijnanaha. So whatever are the contents of that particular work, we can infer that he knows more than that. He knows more than whatever he has authored in that particular work. So why? Because his knowledge is vast, and he is taking the needed ingredients from those knowledge sources and compiling them as a work which will address a particular objective. So that is why we have this Anubandha Chatushtaya, where which deals with the Vishaya of that particular work. So here also in the case of Arthashastra also, we can understand that he has a very broad understanding about all the knowledge sources which are available, which were there, and he took the needed ingredients, very particularly he chose the needed ingredients from the available knowledge sources, and he created a work, or he authored a work which was unique in that point in time. So even while the what is the opening sentence of Arthashastra, even with this also we can understand what is the main objective, or what is the focal point of the Arthashastra is Prithivyaha labhe palanecha yavanti Arthashastrani purvacharyaih prasthapitani prayashastani sangrihya ekamidam Arthashastram kritam. So in many works we do understand that in the Bharatiya Parampara, we do not see stating that this is a unique work that is written by me, that is done by me. But what he says is there were Arthashastras that were prevalent at that point in time while Chanakya was authoring Arthashastra. What did he do is, whatever Arthashastras or Niti Shastras were available at that point, at that time, I have gone through all of them. I've taken the needed ingredients which will actually suit the contemporary situation, and I've compiled them into one Arthashastra, and this is the Arthashastra that I'm going to write. And the main objective of this Arthashastra would be Prithivyaha labhe palanecha. So in order to gain governance over new territories, and in order to even sustain the governance in the existing territories, this knowledge of Arthashastra will be very much helpful. So by this, we can understand the objective, the prayojanam of this Shastra. So each and everywhere, and he doesn't state that it is something that I am doing. So it is I am taking the help of all the Purvacharyas. I'll be dealing, I'll be even exploring what others have to say on the same topic. And then I will state whatever is needed to address these problems of that particular time in the society. So this is what we can infer from the opening statement of Arthashastra. So this is all the background that I wish to explore. That this was the mindset of the Chanakya or any author in that point. In that case, we can actually infer all these things. There will be some what you call some cause for them to actually have this idea to author something new. So in order to state, I mean, the sutra concept, whether that is there in Arthashastra or not, I've taken two examples. The first example would be Anvikshaki Trayi Varta Dandanitischeti Vidya. So this is a sutra kind of a concise expression. So that is why I'm not calling it as sutra though, but it is a very concise expression which is very much near to sutra and has all the ingredients of the definition of sutra. So it is very compact, it is technical, it has very multiple layers in order to understand why he has chosen only 4 as the Vidyasthanas, the main Vidyasthanas that have to be known or be well versed by any administrator. So here Anvikshaki, Trayi, Varta and Dandaniti are 4 Vidyasthanas or Vidyas that were actually opined by Chanakya, that the knowledge of these 4, even though it may not be thorough knowledge of 4, because thorough knowledge of 4 is not that easy to achieve, but at least he wishes that a basic fundamental knowledge of all these 4 Vidyasthanas are a prerequisite for a competent administrator. Why we have to contemplate why he has chosen this? Is there any reason for actually designing this expression, having Anvikshaki in the beginning, Trayi after that, Varta after that, and Dandaniti after that? Is there any other meaning for the Chakara that he has used here? So we will try to explore this particular expression. So here we have Anvikshaki. So what is Anvikshaki? So Anvikshaki, what he meant as Anvikshaki was Nyaya Vaiseshika Lokayata Rupa. So Anvikshaki is an amalgamation of Nyaya Shastra, Nyaya Darshana, Vaiseshika Darshana and Lokayata Darshana. Lokayata means Charvakas. So why Nyaya Vaiseshika and Lokayata? Because Nyaya Vaiseshikas deal with the peripheral world, mostly logic and semantics. So we'll come to in the later parts, we'll see whether this has any relation with the Trayi or not. So first Nyaya, Vaiseshika and Lokayata. And why Lokayata? Nyaya Vaiseshikas come under the Astika Darshanas and Lokayata will come under the Nastika Darshana. Why one should have the understanding of even a Nastika Darshana is because you need to know who your Purvapaksha is and you need to know what are the logics that are being represented by the Purvapakshas in order to achieve the Siddhanta. So in that way, Lokayata has been included into Anvikshaki. And what is the purpose of Anvikshaki is Yathartha Jnanam Samsaya Nirasaha. Yathartha Jnanam is the true knowledge or the true nature of the cosmos, and Samshaya Nirasaha. Samshaya Nirasa is that maybe the fundamental or the primary or the first understanding of any concept would be half in a halfway. That is, there are concepts such as papam, punyam, punarjanma, that is rebirth and etc., where you don't know, you have a doubt whether that is true or not, because there are many people who say that there is nothing called as rebirth, there is nothing called as adrishta or punyam or papam. Some people say they do have. So the layman has many doubts about these kind of abstract concepts, which cannot be proven unless you examine them and have a logical explanation towards proving them. So yathartha jnanam, again, having knowing the true achieving the true knowledge of each and every peripheral object or material that is there in this cosmos. Why and how would you achieve that through the Anvikshaki Vidya is because the art of definitions, the art of logic, these are all the main topics that are dealt in the Anvikshaki. So how to define things? What are the nuances that go into defining things? How to examine a definition? What are the fallacies that are dealt in the that are related to definition? So all these things are dealt in Nyaya Vaisheshika Shastras. So that is why the knowledge of Nyaya Vaisheshikas will lead to Yathartha Jnana. And then the other part is logic, Yukti, Yukti, that is logic. So through logic that you can establish some of the topics that are dealt in the Trayi or in the Vedas, which are very much which cannot be understood by our sensory organs. They have to be substantiated only through proper logic. So that is why Anvikshaki, the knowledge of Anvikshaki is very much important. And what kind of subjects are dealt in Anvikshaki? Pramana Lakshanadi Vicharaha. So Pramana Vichara, that is the epistemology or the ways, the sources of achieving knowledge, and Lakshana, that is the definitions and etc. So this is what is Anvikshaki is all about. Then comes Trayi. What is Trayi? Normally Trayi, the word, the literal meaning of Trayi would be Rig, Sama, Vedas. But here it is not only the Vedic knowledge that is being that is opined or thought about the word Trayi, but it is all the allied knowledge systems which will enable us to understand the understand Vedas. That are Veda Anga, Vedangaha, Vedangas, Purana, Mimamsa, that is Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa Shastra, which is known as even Vakya Shastram, and Dharma Shastram. So Dharma Shastra Samishti Rupa Trayi. So there are certain there are many Veda Vakyas which whose meaning cannot be understood on the first go. You need to have a technical analysis of that, examination of that, for which a basic fundamental knowledge of Nyaya Vaisheshikas is needed, and then superior logics that are dealt in Mimamsa are needed, and Puranas and Vedangas will help us in understanding the whole the structure of Vedas, how to derive the right meanings of them. And Dharma Shastras also, they are also called as Smritis. So there are certain because the Veda Vangmaya is not available 100% every time. So it will be depleting from time to time. So in order to substitute those knowledge sources, Dharma Shastras and Puranas come in. So they also have the same strata as Vedas, after Vedas. So these are all combined knowledge of all these is called as Trayi, and that an administration should have all these. Why? The purpose will be dealing with in the later stages. And what is the main focal point of Trayi is Purushartha Gochara Adrishta Jnanam Phalam. So what is the outcome of the knowledge of Vedas is it doesn't mainly or predominantly deal the subjects which are very famous or which can be known only by your sensory organs and which are very much prevalent in the society. But Vedas deal with those concepts or those elements which cannot be seen by us, which are very much needed to know the know how the actually the cosmos work, because the cosmos is very complicated. It is not very much easy for us to understand the design of this cosmos, because there are many elements which are beyond sensory perception, which can only be what you call established with a superior knowledge source such as Vedas, and with the help of Nyaya Shastra, that is the logic, that you have to you have to understand topics such as Punarjanma, Papam, Punyam, all these topics. So for that, Veda's main focal point is with the Adrishta, or the subjects which cannot be perceived by the sensory organs. And another wonderful aspect is that you need to have Vishwasa or faith in the Vedas. Loka Vishwasa Adhara. When will Vedas or the Trayi knowledge system will have its what you call stake is when you have faith in that. I mean, whatever that is being propounded or proposed by the Vedas, first you have to at least accept or preliminarily accept it, then contemplate it whether that is possible or not with logic, superior and what you call intermediate level logics. Then you have to come to what you call an understanding whether that meaning is possible or not. The subjects that have been proposed by the Vedas are possible or not. Because as I said before also, in order to have sattva in the society, there will be many elements that cannot be purely logically proven. There will be certain aspects which will be proposed by the Vedas, and you have to accept them and try to have a logical explanation for that, and work towards that particular adrishta concept, which will actually again lead to sattva in the society. So hence the knowledge of Trayi is very much needed. And then comes Varta. So what is Varta? Varta is Pashupalya Krishi Vanijya Samudaya Rupa. Pashupalanam means taking care of various kind of living beings that will in return help us in sustaining our own livelihood. Krishi is agriculture, and then Vanijyam is commerce. So all these three come under the Varta, because in order to function a society, you need to have wealth. Without wealth, a society cannot function peripherally. So you need to have all these wealth sources, which is nothing but Varta. And that too, the Varta which is intended, it is Dharma Avirodhi. So it should be not against the Dharma. So whatever now we are calling as sustainable concept, sustainable topic, sustainable, administrative schemes or designs, that is sustainability. This sustainability is what we may understand like Dharma Avirodhi Vidya Bhumya Dyartha Jnanam Phalam. So what will you achieve by the knowledge of Varta is sustainable. What are the sustainable knowledge sources which will lead to sustainability, and how to sustain ecology with reaping benefits from environment or nature, as we are also part of nature. So this is the main focal point of Varta. That is, we should not disturb the process, the natural process which is there, without disturbing it. How to reap benefits out of nature and sustain a society. So that is why a person should, an administrator should have a thorough knowledge of Varta. And the Varta is what it is called as Jivana Hetu also. Jivana Hetu is for us, for sustenance of the society, the knowledge of Varta is very much needed. And then comes Dandaniti. So Dandaniti is a regulatory aspect. It regulates the society. So what is the phalam or the output of Dandaniti is Prithivyaha Labha Palana Vardhana Satpatra Pratipatti Jnanam Phalam. So if you have the knowledge of Dandaniti, you can Prithivyaha Labha. You can grow your presence in newer territories. You can administer thoroughly. You can administer, very robust in the existing territories. You can prosper as a society, and you know where to use which kind of a resource through which you achieve enhanced productivity also. And dandaniti should be in such a way that the regulations should be in such a way that it will lead to loka anuraga. That means the people or the stakeholders of the society will actually cherish the regulations. It should not be draconian. The dandaniti or the regulations that are proposed by any administrator should not be draconian in nature, or they should not have only the purpose of achieving more wealth or more power to the administrator, but it should lead to what are we calling as happiness index nowadays in the administration. So the stakeholders of the society should actually cherish the regulations, and the regulations should be in such a way. And samasta vidya pravachana acharana pracharana hetu. If the dandaniti is in the right way, I mean, if the dandaniti is administered in the right way, what happens is all the knowledge sources, which are actually the main cause for sustainability in the society, they actually get what you call nourish a lot. They can be propagated throughout the society. So that is why these 4 vidyasthanas were chosen as the basics of any administrator by Chanakya. So as I was telling, that there are some points that we may have to observe from the sutra perspective in this particular example. Is there any interlinked or another layer to the expression anvikshaki trahi varta dandaniti cheti vidyaha? I by going through the commentaries, some commentaries, I can understand that there is a logic behind putting them in this form. Anvikshaki and trahi are correlated, varta and dandaniti are correlated. Why? Because the main purpose of anvikshaki is not pure logic, but the main purpose of anvikshaki is to substantiate the knowledge that has been proposed by the trayi or the Vedas or the allied Vedangas and Purana, Itihasa and Shāstra-s. So whatever that has been Shruti and Shruti, Smriti, Purana and Itihasas, the knowledge that has been proposed or being taught by the Trayi Varga, they have to be this anvikshaki, the logic or the definitions or anything, they have to actually address those subjects. So the anvikshaki is a supporting entity for trayi. And similarly, varta and dandaniti also have a correlation, because varta, as I said, it is the main purpose is to generate and sustain wealth. But that sustenance of wealth or protection of a wealth is very much needed, and hence there need to be a regulatory system which is proposed by dandaniti. So these 4 have correlation. I mean, initially, if we see, there is a correlation between two entities. So that is why anvikshaki trayi can be considered to be one part, and varta dandaniti can be considered into the other part. If we go through the Arthanukrama, if we think about the concept rather than the words that are there in the sutras, there can be another understanding also. So understanding the same expression according to the Arthanukrama, how would that be? We have to start with Varta, then Dandaniti, then Trayi, and then Anvikshaki in the last. Why? Because Varta deals with the, if you see from the Purushartha context, Varta deals with the Artha, that is wealth. So without wealth, any society cannot sustain. So the creation of wealth is very much needed. But if we have just wealth in the society, it will lead to chaos, because many people don't know how to actually maintain that wealth, or there may be forces that would be working towards depleting that wealth, or robbing that wealth, or misusing that wealth. So there are many negative factors if wealth itself is there without any protection or regulation. So hence you need Dandaniti upon it. So Dandaniti, the main purpose of Dandaniti would be to regulate, to provide protection for wealth in order to sustain and flourish the society, which should eventually lead to sattva. So we have to keep that in mind, that each and everything, whether this is leading to sattva or not, is very much important. Then Dandaniti is there upon Varta. If you closely examine, and Varta is wealth and Dandaniti is power. So you need to have power over wealth, fine. But what will happen if you have power over wealth is, people who have power, they can grow superiority complex, they can develop superiority complex and try to suppress each and everyone who is there in the society for their personal benefit, which we can actually have innumerous examples in the contemporary situation. So that is why the person who has power in his hand should have the understanding of Trayi. So as we came to know from the previous slides, that the main purpose of Trayi is not about the materialistic subjects, but it is about something beyond that, above that, which will help us to understand the complexities of the cosmos. So the understanding of Trayi will actually impart the sense of dharma in the people who actually have the power of Dandaniti, and Varta who have the wealth. If the sections of the society who have wealth and power, if they have the sense of dharma, then sustainability will be achieved. So hence, Dandaniti, above Dandaniti, it is Trayi. But in order to understand Trayi, or have a clear understanding without any doubt, you need to have Anvikshaki with that, upon that. So hence, Anvikshaki has a very main role in order to achieve sattva. So all these things, if we see, each and every element has a direct or indirect correlation in order to achieve sattva in the society. So Anvikshaki, again, Anvikshaki, that is why it is upon Trayi. So the basis of Anvikshaki is Trayi. So it cannot be without the Vishwasa in Trayi. Anvikshaki is of no use. It is pure logic which will actually, after some point, pure logic will lead to chaos. So you need to have Trayi as the basis of Anvikshaki. So this is also another framework that we can understand from that particular concise expression of Chanakya. So if we see it as a pyramid diagram, so Varta is the base of a society in order to sustain. So Dandaniti is the regulating force upon that. And then Trayi is the force which regulates Dandaniti and Varta. And in order to have a clear understanding of Trayi, you need to have Anvikshaki upon it. So in this way, each and every Vidyasthana has interrelation, and at the same time, each and every Vidyasthana will have a role in achieving the main objective of the work, that is Sattva Sthapana in the society. So this is also another way to understand that concise expression of Chanakya. So reflection of Trayi over Dandaniti. I mean, is there any reflection that we have maybe Chanakya thought about? This is something that I am just inferring, that it could be this verse from Brihadaranyaka Sa naiva vyabhavat tat shreyo rupam atyasrijata dharmam tadetat tadetat kshatrasya kshatram yad dharmah tasmad dharmat param nasti. So in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, you have this concept where the creation is happening. So the Brahmanas are regulated by the Kshatriyas, and then that is Kshatriyas, they represent the community which yields the power of administration. But afterwards, the Ishvara thought about what happens if the Kshatriya is not having a regulation force upon him, because Kshatriya is regulating the whole society. But what if he develops a superiority complex? So there is a need of another power which regulates the power of Kshatriya, and that is why he created some dharma upon Kshatriya, and dharmat param nasti. Nothing is beyond dharma is what is the concept here. So this is a framework that may have be there behind the mind of Chanakya in order to state that Trayi is upon Dandaniti. So this is one example. And the second example I wish to explore is this. In the second adhyaya, we have this prayojanam. What is the prayojanam or the purpose of each and every? I'll complete within. Yeah, I understand. Sir. Yes. Very crisp this thing. So what is the purpose of each and every Vidyasthana that he has proposed that each and every administrator should have? That is prajna, vakya, kriya, vaisharadyancha karoti. So this is the one of the purposes of knowledge of Anvikshaki is prajna vaisharadyam, vakya vaisharadyam, and kriya vaisharadyam. So what is prajna vaisharadyam? It is clarity of understanding. So prajna vaisharadyam, as I told before, Anvikshaki has this art of definitions. So there are two kinds of prajna, that is understanding. One is sakhandopadhika prajna and other one is akhandopadhika prajna. So sakhandopadhika prajna is representable cognition. That means those subjects which you can define, which you can actually articulate what they are called as sakhandopadhika prajna, and akhandopadhika prajna are non-representable experiential cognition. That means we experience sukha, dukkha, jnanam, and etc. every day. But a layman cannot actually express what sukha, dukkha, jnana are. They cannot actually define them. So this is akhandopadhika prajna. So these both prajnas, the sakhandopadhika prajna mainly is achieved by Anvikshaki, which is very much needed for clarity of thought. Once you have clarity of thought, that will lead to vakya vaisharadyam, that is unambiguous verbal cognition. So if you, because artham buddha shabda rachana, if you know something which with clarity, you can express that with clarity. What will this lead? This will lead to kriya vaisharadyam, that is precision in action. So you have clarity of what to do, and hence the knowledge of Anvikshaki will lead to prajna vaisharadyam, which will lead to vakya vaisharadyam, and hence kriya vaisharadyam, and at the end to sattva pratishtha in the society. So in this way, the concise expression of Chanakya has many layers to it in order to understand them. So this was my this thing. And yadatra saushthavan kinchit tad guroreva menahi, yadatra asaushthavan kinchit tan mamaiva rame guroho. So I wish to say that whatever virtues that are there in my talk, those belong to my gurus and not myself. And if there are any shortcomings, that are myself and not to my gurus. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this was a new enlightenment to the people who probably did not notice a sutra-like concise expression in Arthasastra. So thank you very much for that, Jammalamadaka.